Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, you're gonna die.
Welcome to my channel, Wake Up Bright, where I share all the things that help me live each day a little brighter. And this is not a uplifting story time. However, hopefully it will help you live each day a little more prepared than maybe you would have been if you didn't watch. My husband and I had a date night that ended pretty horribly. We went to an escape room, and those are so fun. And I love that you have to work together to problem solve. And we were driving home and we were just talking about like our experience, and we get out of the car and we come inside. We didn't look around, we didn't do anything. And not that that would have helped us, but I did not think about being situationally aware. When we pulled up to our driveway, I was like, this is like, we're home, yay. And like 100% comfort. And we get out of the car and we come inside. I immediately let our pups out back and started unloading our dishwasher, and I heard a knock on the door. It was just a little one knock. And I was like, oh, we must have a package, because literally no one else ever knocks once except for delivery drivers. And so I went to the door. I didn't even look out. I did not look out of our door. I just opened it up and I was like, where's my package at? I was like, that's weird. And then I shut the door, did not lock it back. I did not lock the door back. When you're inside, always lock your doors. So then I went back to the dishwasher and continued to unload the dishwasher. And about this time, someone knocked on the door, and they knocked, I think, 3 times. And it just sounded weird. I just had very weird feelings. And so my husband was like getting ready for bed. Like he was like about to hop in the shower, and I'm like, you need to like put your clothes on and answer the door. So he is someone who believes in always answering the door. Like he says that good things happen when you answer the door when somebody knocks. Whereas I am like, I'm like, the memes where like people are like hiding on the floor. If I don't expect anyone to be coming, I do not like to answer my door. So, fun fact about me, I guess. But he got dressed, and I decided I was gonna pull the security footage up. I thought he was gonna open the door. He might not have been gonna open the door, because he was also looking out. And about that time, I was like, I got the security footage up, and thank goodness we have a good security system. And I was like, absolutely, do not open that door. And he locked the door. And about that time, we start hearing somebody outside of our house yelling, hurry up, hurry up. And then he starts trying to kick our door down. My husband went to get a weapon in case we needed it. And our pups were very upset. Chipper was like right underneath me. Julio was like barking at the door. And this guy is like aggressively trying to come in. And my husband just kind of positioned himself in an ideal spot. Then this guy moves to the window, and I'm on the phone with 911. I yelled it out. I might have had some profanity when I was instructing him to get off of our porch. But he starts trying to come through our window, like petrified. Let me go back. So he constantly leaves the front door and he starts going out and messing with our vehicles, trying to get in our vehicles, like looking into our vehicles. And I just started setting the alarm off to the vehicles. I was hoping that that would make him leave, and he didn't. He wasn't leaving. He would walk off, and after looking at security footage, I saw, and this is like just today, I was looking at security footage from then, he was going over and hiding in bushes, and then he was coming back out. And at some point, I didn't know until after the fact, but he actually jumped over our fence and he crawled onto our back porch, and then he got up and then he knocked a bunch of stuff over, and then he went back out and to the other side of our yard and jumped over the fence. We have a tall fence. Jumping over our fence is not an easy feat to like straight or even like with a running start jump over a 6-foot fence. Like that's not an easy thing, especially not without like taking the fence down with you, which I mean, anyway. So he comes back around, like he just keeps going, like it was very intense. He was very determined that he was going to get in our house and that we were going to die. And that is petrifying.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You're gonna die. Hurry up. You're gonna die. Like fuck, like fuck. Do you really want me? Hurry up. Hurry up.
It is petrifying that someone, at first, before I listened to the security footage, I did not hear him saying you're going to die. So the very first time he knocked on our door, he said, you're going to die. And then he left and came back. And then when he started beating the door, it was hurry up, you're gonna die. Like, do you really want me to? You're going to die. And it definitely changed the way I looked at this situation. I originally thought it was someone probably inebriated. I'm pretty sure he was. He left bottles of alcohol in our yard. Also probably on drugs. But I thought it was someone who, and it is early, it's like 8:30. I thought it was somebody trying to get into their own house and they were just like lost maybe, or like their friend's house or something like that. And I had like more empathy for the fact that he was so confused. But the violence of telling us that we're going to die, like that is, there are just violent people out there. It's one of the most scariest things. So at this point, he stops throwing himself against the window. I am off the phone with 911. The police are on their way. And I went around the house and turned all of our lights off and locked our doors so that we could see it It got even more chaotic from there. So we got home about 3 minutes later. It was the first knock. Police are able to get to our home, and I feel like that was a super fast response. I am not well versed on like what good response times are. This man, this violent man who was trying to break into our home and hurt us, he kept going over and messing with our vehicles. So I kept turning the car alarms on, and when he would do that, he would then run off, and then he'd come back to the car, and then he'd run off. And I had it on the doorbell camera, so I couldn't see everything going on. And the police pull up, and they were having difficulty figuring out which house was ours. And because apparently their map had our house in the middle of the road, which makes sense because this house hasn't been here that long. And the police see him, and immediately, without hesitation, they run after him, and they are able to apprehend him and get him in their vehicle. And then they came to talk to us and explained like what was going to happen.
Wars and with the family, and unknown person broke the threshold of their home. So I'm going to finish this stuff now.
It is absolutely best case scenario. Our preparedness was not the best case scenario, but the incident itself, as far as somebody trying to come into our home to hurt us and not being able to get in, and then having the police show up and being able to apprehend him, and no one is injured. I wasn't injured, my husband wasn't injured, neither of the police officers were injured, and aside from whatever injuries he sustained trying to throw his body into our door and our window and over our fence. He was not injured either. So I call that like a really good situation. It could have gone so sideways in so many ways, and that's why I wanted to share. So I wanted to share my takeaways from this event. It's so important to be situationally aware. About being home, it just goes away. Now, for a period of time this year, I did not feel safe at home at all for a long period of time. And that was very frustrating, and I was very situationally aware. And it's amazing how time changes that. So like, I had gotten very casual. My husband and I got out of the car, and we had been having a good conversation, and we continued our conversation all the way in. I didn't look to see if somebody had busted it through our door or our front window. I just went into the house. And so just being situationally aware and surveying where you are at. So whether you're at the movies, knowing where exits are, it can be very helpful. So be situationally aware. The second takeaway from this is I feel like having a plan. My husband and I had not had a conversation like, what if somebody tries to break in and we're home? It's not a hard conversation to have. It's important to have like a safe place. It's important to have just a plan. And I am definitely not the one to go to for a plan. In Missouri, my friend Jenna and I and a few of our friends went to a ladies' like self-preparedness, like safety night at a local gun range. And we went through a course on how to set up security for your home and how to essentially take care of yourself in a lot of different situations. So if you're interested in finding out more information on that, I suggest like maybe looking in your local community, see if your local police station has courses on like self-defense. your local gun ranges or other maybe community resources locally to you. And then also just reviewing the laws of where you live, like what you need to do. Like, what do you need to do in order to be safe? And then also having things for like, if there's a fire, if there's a tornado, or if there's an earthquake, if you and your family all work in different places and something bad happens, what's your plan? Like, where are you going to meet? How are you going to try and get in contact with each other? Because I've experienced several times in different situations when bad things happen, the cell phones, you're not going to be able to make calls most of the time. So having a plan to where you don't need to communicate in the moment, you already have communicated and you know what your family plan is. Number 3 is it's important to invest in home security. Having eyes in different places outside without having to be up in our windows was extraordinarily helpful. And it doesn't have to be an expensive security system, even if it's just like waiting until Prime Day and getting a Ring doorbell for your home when it's on sale, if they even put them on sale for Amazon Prime Day, maybe Black Friday. But just having some means of surveying your property. And in that class that we went to, they had suggested setting up like motion sensor lights and other things, so that way you know where people are. The guy shared a story about this lady, and she had come to one of their classes and she was taking extra steps because she went through a terrible experience where she was asleep and she woke up to an intruder standing over her, and he was on drugs, completely out of his mind, and he stabbed her multiple times. And we need to lock our doors, and we need to have some sort of warning system so we know. Apparently that is one of the more common crimes, is breaking and entering our home invasions, especially in areas with lots of drug usage. So next thing that I thought about during this situation is I feel like the police department responded very rapidly. So it was about 13 minutes from when they showed up. Now, they didn't come to our door. It was more like 20 to 30 minutes before they got to our door, but that's because they had to apprehend the man who was trying to break in. And so they chased him down and then they arrested him. And that took a little bit of time. So then the police officers came, and I'm so glad that they did, and that they took the time to educate us a little bit, and they were just super kind and helpful, and I'm grateful that they showed up. That being said, there was 13 minutes, and a lot could have happened if he would have gotten into our house. There would have been a physical conflict, and it just would have been a very bad situation. And having a plan in what you're going to do and a way to protect yourself, whatever that looks like, is important. And having maybe a safe place to go to barricade yourself off in that situation could also be very helpful. I know that there are websites and books and probably YouTube channels with experts talking about these things. And so I highly recommend that if you haven't, maybe looking up some of those videos, but more importantly, if you haven't, figuring out some plans and sharing it with your family so you and your family have a safety plan. So I think it's really important to consider how important our physical preparedness is in any sort of disaster or emergency situation. The better shape we're in, the better we're going to be able to deal with something horrific happening. And I'm not saying that so that anyone feels scared with where they are. It's just something I think to be mindful of that maybe we don't consider when we consider preparing for bad things. We think about consuming and buying all of these things, but one of the most important things that we can do is get our bodies physically ready, and also our minds. So having those plans, the conversations. I just hope that my scary experience may help someone else prepare, because our scary experience, this one at least, was a best case scenario in which no one was injured. And that is probably rare. So protect yourselves and your families and educate yourselves so that you are better equipped to do that. It is scary how common these things are, and I can only imagine that as we go forward, that things like this may only get worse, and having a plan and means of protection and just getting your mind and your body ready is so important. And thank you for letting me share my story time with you. I'll be back later this week. Thank you for encouraging me on my journey, and thank you for caring about me and my husband and our pups. I'm so grateful for you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.